At first glance, magic, mythology, and movie theme parks seem like they operate in totally separate worlds, but there's one thing that ties them all together, and it is revolutionary. So allow me to explain. In less than a month, the Orlando entertainment scene will be completely shaken and potentially even uprooted. With the opening of Universal's new theme park, Epic Universe, looming, everyone is asking the same question. What does this mean for the future of theme parks? And specifically, what does this mean for Disney? I, however, am asking a slightly different question, because alongside the opening of this huge development, complete with 11 rides across 5 themed lands, the Universal company has opened/are opening 3 new hotels: Stella Nova Resort, Terra Nova Resort, and the most palatial of them all, the Helios Grand Hotel. So my question is, how is this hotel, which is one of a lineup of 11 on property, going to single-handedly challenge the well-established decades-standing model of on-site resorts that have come before? And how will the existence of the Helios Grand change not only the direction of Universal properties, but also those beyond? Well, let me tell you. But before I do, my name is Jo, and here on this channel I talk a lot about theme parks and tourism and plenty of other related bits and bobs. So if this is the kind of thing you're interested in, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the other fun content coming your way, and check out the description for information on how to support me on alternative platforms. But without further ado, and in order to answer our burning questions, let's start by learning a little bit more about the Helios Grand Hotel. Hello, future tense Jo here. I wrote and recorded this video months and months ago, intending to schedule it the week before opening to coincide with the Epic Discourse, but unfortunately the hotel actually ended up opening a month early in April of 2025, and so a lot of the hype and the mystery around the hotel is no longer present. However, I think this video still manages to touch base on some of the most important and exciting aspects of the new property, specifically looking at the unique features and the groundbreaking role it will play within the Orlando hotel sphere. So just as a forewarning, some of the comments I make may seem a little odd with the knowledge we now have, but I definitely recommend still watching the video through to the end. Described by NBC as a majestic Mediterranean-inspired escape rising above the lush gardens and scenic waters of Celestial Park at Epic Universe, it's a huge addition to the existing Loews Universal portfolio and takes its total up to 11 hotels and over 11,000 guest rooms at the time of opening. This new hotel, which boasts a zero entry pool with underwater speakers, 3 food outlets, and a rooftop lounge with 360-degree views of Epic Universe, combines all the best elements from the resort's existing hotel lineup to offer tranquility and convenience in a luxurious environment, whilst tailoring itself enough to the new part that it feels completely unlike the company's existing hotels. But we'll talk about that shortly. The rooms offer all the features you'd expect from a Universal hotel, like 100% cotton bed linens, flat panel TVs, mini refrigerators, and, as typically found in newly defined Signature Collection resorts, signature bathrobes too. Where the differences between the Helios Grand and some of the other Universal resorts start to show is in the new hotel's theming, and the fact that it has a little bit of a story. Here, guests will enter a radiant sanctuary known as the Palace of Helios, after the Greek god of the sun of the same name. Adorned with beautiful details of celestial patterns, dazzling constellations, and elegant yet casual Mediterranean design elements, you'll see this narrative expressed through lighting fixtures, intricate underfoot floor designs, and structures throughout, including the pool bar. We've previously seen Universal run with some more abstract and broader themes, think 1920s Americana, general sunshine tourism, the Caribbean, music, technology, and, most recently, the wider cosmos. But we haven't really seen such a defined narrative piece from them before. And while Disney is a widely accepted dab hand when it comes to hotel theming, this is a really big step for the immersive storytelling game in the US, especially when it comes to hotels. But excitingly, this is just the beginning of our analysis. So now we've covered what the new hotel is, let's look back and talk about how it came to be. If you've been following any of the Florida theme park wars for the past half century, you've absolutely come across the Universal's playing catch-up to Disney rhetoric. Whatever your stance is, there's undeniably a back and forth race towards theme park greatness between the two. From the offset, the two companies have been playing very similar games on very different fields. While Disney has the luxury of space on its side, Universal has the luxury of location, and these factors are deeply influential in the conceptualization and creation of new products. Disney boasts 4 theme parks, 2 water parks, professional sports facilities, conference centres, including the expansive facilities over at the Contemporary Resort, and their own shopping destination. Universal also offers pretty expansive on-site conference spaces, a smaller shopping complex, and 3 theme parks by their own definition. But just due to the nature of the more is better mentality of theme park tourism, their offerings fall secondary to Disney's. However, Universal has the benefit of being significantly closer to big off-site venues like the Orange County Convention Centre, which hosts more than 230 events a year, iDrive, downtown Orlando, and the biggest local airport, MCO. Couple this with our previous comparisons and you'll start to see our next suggestion taking shape. What this means is that, almost by default, whether to a fault or to their benefit, the hotels on Universal property are far more likely to be used as a convention overflow hotel or as a base hotel for travellers than those on Disney property. Instead of being used for a base for a trip to Universal, it's likely that the Universal hotels are going to be used by people taking a trip to Orlando to do other things as well, which may well include a trip to their competitors' parks. Whether that's because of their opportune location and their proximity to other tourism products, or the fact that there's significantly fewer things to do on Universal property than Disney at the moment, this is a hard-to-shake reputation, and for a while it's felt like Universal has just fallen into this acceptingly, while Disney has continued to win public favour for their hyper-themed expansive resorts. To broaden our discussion, the most comparable hotels on Disney property in terms of layout and operating model are definitely the Swan and Dolphin resorts, as despite being close to the park and regarded by many as Disney hotels, they're third-party operated, have worldwide membership schemes that make them desirable for business travellers, and lend themselves more towards convention tourism than recreational tourism. The key difference, however, is that while only 2 to 3 of Disney's 30 hotels operates this way, all of the Universal's Lowe's associated hotels operate this way. But all of this could be about to change, as for Universal, this new hotel could mark a clear deviation from the company's existing model, serving as the first Universal-run hotel that doesn't lean so heavily into its off-site audience, but instead, much like Disney hotels, operates almost solely as a theme park hotel, rather than a convenient stopover for families or conference attendees who are using the hotel as a base for other local experiences. So, it's got some strong theming, and they feel confident enough in the property to allow it to serve as a self-standing theme park hotel, rather than a hotel with theme park access. The Helios Grand aligns with what you'd expect from every other theme park hotel in this category. As such, it could simply indicate that Universal has finally caught up with Disney in the hotel game. After all, that's what everyone's been saying about Epic Universe, with it being potentially the most heavily themed amusement park to open in the United States since Animal Kingdom, so this would make sense, right? But, as if we haven't already seen enough twists and turns and deviations, there is one thing that truly sets it apart from all the other hotels we're discussing, and further breaks it away from the existing Universal hotel model, perhaps indicating a development even greater than the ones outlined above. It has a dedicated theme park entrance. Now I know what you're thinking, Joe, you can't tell me that this hotel is all that just because it has a special entrance. After all, Cabana Bay has a dedicated entrance to Volcano Bay, and you're right. Mostly. Because it's less about the entrance itself and more about what the entrance represents. And the fact that Volcano Bay opened 3 years after Cabana, so that doesn't count. That aside, having a dedicated entrance and being located within the grounds of Epic Universe takes the hotel from being just a nicely themed accessory to the new park and turns it into a part of the park. It makes its presence intentional and gives it a sense of unwavering permanence that we haven't really ever seen in Orlando parks, with the closest existing comparisons being the Contemporary Resort or the Grand Floridian due to their proximity to Magic Kingdom, or if we're looking back, the now defunct Galactic Star Cruiser's transport van that dropped off directly into Batuu. But let me share a first-hand experience to explain why this specific detail makes the new hotel feel so different to any of these other ones. A few years ago, I had the luxury of staying in the Charles Lindbergh Hotel in Phantasialand in Germany, and it was astounding. Similarly to the Helios Grand, the Charles Lindbergh was hyper-themed and had special dedicated dining areas, but the main draw was the special entrance to the steampunk land below. Not only could you see the park from the hotel, and likewise the hotel from the park, but you could walk down a special staircase and immediately step into the land. The commute was no longer a bus or a half-mile walk from the hotel's entrance, but instead approximately 100 feet. Almost inescapably, from the start of your stay to its finish, you're in the park, not just near to it. I would wake up feeling like I was already in the park, and with this new one, you'll see the park as you're eating your breakfast, when you're in the pool, and maybe even when you're at the gym. This proximity and visibility completely shapes every moment of your experience while you're staying in the hotel, And even if you're not staying in the hotel, it becomes something elusive and intriguing that naturally blends into and builds onto the theming of its attached land, simply through its presence. In an advert for the Helios Grand, which is attached to one of Epic's new lands, Celestial Park, the idea of synchronization between the park and the hotel is explored in the interviews, with the hotel being described as an attraction in and of itself. Internally mirroring components of the land's astronomical-inspired gardens, its sun-evoking features and celestial motifs, the idea is that the shared design elements will create a coherent transition between the park and the hotel. While we're used to hearing about Disney monorail crawls and movies under the stars, the Universal hotels don't typically fall into that same category in the discourse. As someone who adores hotels, especially themed hotels, I've spent my fair share of time just wandering around the Universal hotels, but I really seem to be in the minority, as there are a lot of people who have never even stepped foot in a Universal hotel unless they're staying there. As such, between the intricate design and the manufactured exclusivity of the attraction extension, this could be a huge turning point for Universal's hotel game. And don't worry if I haven't quite sold you on the dream of a dedicated theme park entrance, because no matter how big or small you perceive this to be, the fact that Universal is taking more unorthodox risk is really positive and exciting too. So what does this mean for Disney? The pressure is on, and potentially more pressing than ever. It's important to note that when Animal Kingdom, the last major theme park to join the Orlando lineup, opened back in 1998, Universal didn't have any hotels, not one. But in just over 25 years, the company has opened 11 hotels, 2 theme parks, and a water park. In the meantime, Disney has opened 5 hotels, closed a water park and an entire island, and operated a very short-lived immersive space hotel experience. I'm certainly not trying to be harsh, as I do love Disney, and they have added some incredible rides and offerings in this period too. But it's important to highlight these differences in operating over the past few decades. Now as Epic Universe, the newest major theme park to join the Orlando lineup, is opening, things are different. Guests want choice, guests want immersion, guests want creativity, and, as reflected by the ever-growing experience economy, guests want to see and do the unique. And for many, that's exactly what the Helios Grand is going to offer, with its completely unprecedented location and features unlike any operating theme park hotel in the area. We've all heard that competition spurs creativity, but with creativity and innovation comes risk. In the business of theme parks, there's unfortunately only so much tolerance for risk when it comes at the expense of shareholder return. So really, any deviation from the existing safe model is a huge deal and should be celebrated in this sphere. I think it would be naive to assume that creative changes on Universal's side would do much for changing the Disney company's current trajectory. Remember that, as safe and IP heavy as things may seem now, Disney has taken on some risky projects over the past decade, and following the closure of one of their most exciting and innovative projects to date, the Galactic Star Cruiser Hotel, are probably still feeling a bit hesitant to invest in anything hyper-immersive or left field. This isn't to say that innovation will never return with its previous force, but rather that for now, in the wake of those underperforming projects, security is likely the business priority. Either way, with large investments being made in basically all theme parks and attractions over the next few years, there's a lot to look forward to and be excited about in Orlando, and it'll be incredibly interesting to look back in a few years and see how much influence a dedicated door may have had. And with that, our video comes to an end. Do you have any plans to stay at the hotel when it opens, or are you feeling slightly more skeptical than excited about the upcoming developments, specifically the role of a special entrance? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I, for one, am really optimistic about the development and beyond eager to see the final product. As a fan of really heavily themed hotels like the ones you'll find in Vegas, I can't wait to see the theming and to see how the hotel integrates into the park, becoming an attraction in its own right. If you too are excited for the hotel and all the wonderful developments coming to the theme park sphere over the next few years, be sure to subscribe to my channel so you won't miss out as we continue to discuss them in my upcoming videos. Similarly, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it and visit the description for my links and information on how to support me on alternative platforms. Thank you very much for watching and have a wonderful day.